great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion. Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode 845 of the Immigration Answer Show. What day is today, people? Today is the 10th of June, 2025. We'll be here for the next hour. How is everybody doing? We are live on TikTok. We are live on YouTube. We are live on LinkedIn and X and Facebook. How's everybody doing? I am in Dallas, Texas. I drove by Jerry's World. I drove by, both airports. Texas is crazy. It's very, very hot, very, very humid. But I'll be for the hour trying to answer guys. Immigration. How's everybody doing? What's going on with you? Anybody? What's going on? Cases out there, people protesting. People and they the protests turned violent. Oh, my connection is not very good. Thank you, Laura. Let me try the internet. Well, I was on the phone because you guys said the Wi-Fi kept kicking me off. Let me try this. I might be back in a minute. Let me see. All right, I'm back. How's that? Is that better, you guys? Can you hear me better? We'll see how it is. How's everybody doing? Is that better? I hope the reception is better now that I'm on the hotel Wi-Fi. I was on my cell phone. But Benz, I am here in Dallas with you. So how about that? I'll be here for the next day and a half. I'm doing some YouTube training, meeting with a bunch of smart YouTubers over the last 2 days. Got some cool things planned. Hopefully, Dammy, it'll stay better. The reception will stay better. How about on TikTok? Can you guys hear me over there? Let's see what's going on. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, Mo dropped out. Mo was here. There he is. Let's say hi to our old friend Mo. What's up, Mo?
Hey, camera mute. Off or camera on? I don't care.
Yeah, it's up to you, bud. You're good.
I have a question and some good news and stuff. So,
okay.
I don't know if you remember, but my I-130 got approved about at the end of April.
Yeah.
And then we were just waiting for the visa bulletin to become for my priority date to become current. It came out today or last night, and it went F2A, which is my category, advanced about 6 months, 7 months, and so I'm current now. So I'm just working with my attorney I'm just waiting for my attorney to complete some of the paperwork. We submitted all of it. I guess they have like a portal where we submit all the information. I guess they fill out the forms and then we have to sign them or something. I have a question for you and maybe for the audience. Do you think there's I'm getting a little ahead of myself. We're not even documentary qualified yet.
As you often do.
Yes. My question is there a preferable port of entry for him to come into because of the same-sex situation and all that. Do you?
Nope. Don't worry about that. I think that's the least of my concerns. I mean, just
So,
I always tell everyone to avoid Miami, but other than that, I don't care.
okay, because from South America, Miami is sort of like the port of entry, but he can come directly into Dallas. I'm just worried about. I was thinking maybe San Francisco. That's a little like a little too stereotypical.
Too stereotypical. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the same-sex couples go through San Francisco.
All right. Well, that's it. I'll let everybody else go. But I just wanted to kind of give you some update and find out about if I should be
so what
concerned
happened?
about that.
So you paid the fees for the visas and you
For the MVC, yeah, about a week after we got approved, so about 2 or 3 weeks ago. The attorney's a little slow responding to me about they were supposed to have the documents back to me already to be able to for me to sign them and submit them or whatever to the MVC. Yeah. I've been talking to on the Facebook group, on your Facebook group, to somebody with an F2A visa from the Philippines. The wife is from the Philippines, and they got approved at the same time. We got approved. We have similar priority dates. We're a couple weeks off. We got approved pretty much at the same time. 37 months it took, and then but he got documentary qualified like 3 weeks after that because he said he didn't submit. He didn't have a lawyer, and he did it by himself, and he submitted all the. I guess he was ready on day one, which is what I was hoping to do, but my attorney's just not answering. This is where I regret not going with you. You know, because I knew you would be ready on day one. I think.
Yeah, I would say. The one thing you should know is your husband will be here faster than that
the
guy's.
Philippines.
Yeah, because Philippines is the slowest. So it all balances.
Right. I was looking at some of the statistics from Chile, and it looks like they only give out about 90 visas a year, as opposed to like thousands for the Philippines and China and Mexico.
Yeah, so that's great. Once you get DQ'd, it should be pretty fast.
Right, that's what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you, Jim. I'll stay and watch the rest.
See you, brother.
Bye.
That's our old friend Mo. I see Jonathan there. Sorry, Jonathan. I'll get to you in just a second. We always like to see Mo. We've all been on the emotional roller coaster with Mo, and of course, we'll be very happy when his husband gets here. And I wish we were Mo's lawyers too. That would have been a nice case to work on. And Mo has been stressed out at times. So let's go over to Jonathan. Hello, Jonathan.
Hey, Jim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, it's this Jonathan. Oh my, we got all the OGs. The OGs are all here. You got tonight.
I didn't know there was another Jonathan. I thought it was just me.
Oh no, we've had other Jonathans, and people say all kinds of crazy shit. So yeah, it's all good. What happened?
So I had an interview. I applied in the middle of 2022, so we're coming up to 3 years. I had an interview in March, and I just got a notice tonight to say that they denied it. They wrote a detailed letter, basically saying that because I'd had a criminal issue in the UK, which is a very minor issue, but obviously I declared everything and discussed at the interview, and because I'd had an issue being arrested for driving while my license was suspended in New York, which again, the DA declined to prosecute. It was dealt with, and I gave them all the paperwork for it. But that they said that I am qualified for, I do qualify for adjustment of status, but not for discretion. That I have to convince them that they need to use that. And they talk about discretion. Basically, I'm qualified according to the law, but I'm not. I haven't convinced them that they should use their discretion to give it to me, or some funny wording. I was going to call the office in the morning because I know I'm now under pressure to do something. But then I saw your video from 5 years ago, saying that you don't go the route of a reconsideration. You go for filing a new application. So I guess my question tonight is that still your advice 5 years later?
Well, let me just say this, Jonathan. I think in my whole career as an immigration lawyer, I have read maybe less than 5 I-45 denials where they say that that the person did not, that in their exercise of discretion, they're deciding not to give you a green card. That's very, very rare.
Yeah, so that's what it says. In the exercise of discretion, it states categorically you do qualify for adjustment of status. They approved the I-130 before the interview, I think. Yeah, like a year ago they approved the I-130. So the marriage is fine. They said you do qualify for an adjustment of status. but you don't qualify for the discretion. For the discretion part of it, which was very interesting.
Would a regular person think that the criminal issue in England was a big deal?
No, it's very, very low level. And I looked into this extensively before I applied, and I applied I didn't know you at the time, so I used an attorney who I regret having used, but I did, and she said it's absolutely fine. It was basically for failing to maintain company records for a company I was director of, and I pled guilty, and the guilty plea said on the basis that I was not dishonest. So there was no dishonesty thing. There was no allegations of anything more than just failing to meet the statutory requirement for maintaining books and records. It was a very, very low level. I mean, it'd be a misdemeanor over here. It'd be a nothing.
Yeah. How long ago?
2017.
I mean, it's funny because you and I have spoken many times. I don't think this was ever on our radar. I thought you had different issues that we were concerned about.
Yes, and when they approved I-130, I thought I was home free because my main concern was the marriage issue, because of prior relationships or whatever. But this was such a non-issue. It was like such a low-level thing that I was like, okay, I'm obviously going to be honest. I'm going to declare. I'm going to give them the paperwork, and that was it. My other concern with this is my daughter in all of this. So my wife applied for her on a separate I-130.
Yep.
And her I-130 has been approved. She had an interview last month, and she's pending a decision on that. She is now 19. She'll be 20 in July. So she was under 18 when we got married and when we applied. But I'm worried that if I refile, does that affect her application?
Okay, hold on a second. Has her I-130 been approved?
Yes, but not her 485.
Doesn't she have to be under 16 when the time the relationship is entered into?
I believe 18. 18 entered into and the green card by 21.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. 18. Yep. Okay, good. So that's good. So, and your daughter, I know at times has been overseas and in the United States. Where is she physically right now? We're talking about adjustment.
She's in the U.S. with no plans to leave.
Okay. Yeah. So hers should go. Hers should go through fine. Which I don't want you necessarily even to say which field office. Which state are you in? Florida?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you could file a new case. You might want to just sue them.
So that's what you said in your video. You said that suing them could be an option, but they say in there, obviously you can't appeal it. That's their decision. What would the basis for the lawsuit be if it's a discretion matter?
They're abusing their discretion. I mean, David's asking what discretion. There is a provision in there that makes the granting or denial of a 485 discretionary. It's not a shall. There's a little bit of wiggle room that they have. And so I have had them, I mean, of course, whenever we file a lawsuit, it's always trying to get them to have a higher level person look at it and say, do we really want to fight this one, right? And so if we were doing it, we would be doing it in the hopes that smarter people would look at it and say, the criminal stuff is very, very minor, and it is an abuse of discretion. And usually when we sue them, if we're right, they back off and they reverse themselves. I think this one, I think the fact that they framed it within their discretion might be done with an eye towards litigation, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're up for it, we'd be up for it. But I mean, I'm thinking probably 50-50. We get a motion to dismiss and they say, no, we're going to stick with our
decision.
Yep.
And then what happens after that?
Then you either get sent in removal or you file another case. I mean, you could do both.
But filing another case, they're going to look at this case, obviously, and aren't they going to say an officer, based on their discretion, decided this wasn't good enough? Why do you think I'm going to make a different decision?
Because you're wrong.
So, but if they're wrong, then a motion to reconsider should theoretically get them to.
The problem is you don't have much. You don't have. I mean, any EADs you have are gone, and you don't have proof of status.
Whereas filing a new petition gives me proof of status until they render a new decision.
Yeah, I mean, in theory, if you had all the money in the world, you could do all three. You could sue, you could file a new one, and you could file a motion to reopen.
Yikes. Okay.
Not that you want to do that, but in theory, that would all be possible.
Right, but motion to reconsider doesn't get me my status back until they've made a final decision.
And that can take a year.
Oh, I thought longer. I thought the way you're talking on your video from 5 years ago, it like kind of disappears into nowhere.
Yeah, 1 year would be good. Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, but bear in mind, I was waiting almost 3 years for this first one, so a new petition might not be any quicker anyway.
It probably would be quicker because they might just jump on the denial and deny it again.
And the lawsuit would be if they what are your guesses on the lawsuit if it went well?
2 or 3 months.
Oh, I see. So and the same for if they file a motion to dismiss and stick to the guns. And if they file a motion to dismiss, do we go to court over it, or you just you let it go?
That is court. No, I mean if they said we have the discretion, I mean we would fight it for sure. We would fight it, but at the end of the day, usually the judge rules in favor of the government, right?
Right.
So we've won those for sure, but they're going to say, Judge, the INA gives us great discretion on who we give a green card to. It's the executive branch. You shouldn't be getting involved in what the executive branch is doing. And the question isn't, Judge, if you decided Jonathan's case or not, that you would have given it to him and we didn't. That's not the standard. The standard is that we abused our discretion in not giving Jonathan his green card. In other words, the decision is completely against the facts and the law, if that makes sense. That's sort of a basic way of explaining it.
Right. And could we find, I don't know if it's not case law, but previous cases where they've granted it to people who had higher level convictions and say this is an abuse of power because they've denied it for something that historically they don't deny?
I mean, the dumb thing that they probably put in their decision was that they said, you know, we think that you're eligible to adjust. Like that gives you a good leg up. Well, I would have to look at that. That's a creative argument, you know, because we would be arguing, you know, really the only thing that matters, Judge, in 99% of the cases is whether the person's crimes or not disqualify them and make them inadmissible. But giving them this discretion over here to say, oh, well, even though your crimes are minor, we can still deny you, that's sort of tough.
Right, which is effectively what the letter says.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so I guess so I was going to call the office in the morning, so I guess that's the thing to do because it was...
Just email, say, this is Jonathan, I was on the show with Jim last night, and here's the denial. I'll look at it in the morning. Okay,
I'll do that now.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Sorry, man.
Have a good night.
All right, see ya.
Bye.
All right, that's our buddy. Always something with these guys. Always something. Look at this. JH. Those are the best initials on earth. Hello, JH. JH, are you there? You're on mute. Hello? Nope, not camera, just voice. You there? All right, JH, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to go to SFO. Hello, SFO. We were just talking about you.
Hi, sir. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm all right, sir. Thanks for asking. Sir, I just want to give you a little bit background. So I got married in November 2022. Sorry, June 2020, July 2022. And
you better nail that shit. You better nail that shit down, brother. You got to know when you got married.
No, sir. We have two things. So one is we did in a code, and the other was in we did a traditional marriage. So that's what is November. So anyhow, they receive our case in 28th November 2022, and since then there is nothing, sir. No interview, no nothing, and it's been almost 3 years. Next month we have third anniversary. So.
And you're the beneficiary or you're the petitioner?
I'm the beneficiary.
And are you in the United States or outside the United States?
In the United States.
And before you got married, were you in status or were you out of status?
I was out of status where my case was pending in USCIS.
What case was pending in USCIS?
Asylum.
So, okay, so that's a little bit of a different wrinkle. When did you come to the United States?
2015.
And then when did you apply for asylum?
In 15, and I came in August, and then I applied, and like in August, they sent me my like everything in 2016 August.
What country? What country did you seek asylum from?
Pakistan.
And did you ever have an interview on your asylum case?
Yes.
And they just never issued a decision, or you were in immigration court?
No, I'm in an immigration court.
Okay, so when you're talking to me right now, you're talking about the fact that your I-130 has been pending for 3 years,
Yes, sir.
not adjustment.
Not adjustment.
When is your next court date? I like the way you answer questions a lot.
2017.
Um,
Oh, sorry, 2027.
okay. You threw me for a minute. I was like, what question did I ask him? He said 2017. Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
sorry. My
So
bad.
yeah. So, and how's the marriage? Everything is good?
Yeah, like a little bit, spice is always there with wife and husband, but everything is going smooth.
And have you had kids or anything?
Not yet.
And you live together?
Yes, sir.
Have either of you been married before?
Yes, she got married twice. This is her third marriage. Mine is second.
And did either of her other marriages involve anyone getting an immigration benefit?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, she got married like the first time in 2002, and then that husband expired, and then the second one was her marriage one in 2016, and that was done in 2021.
So and so she was born in the United States?
Yes, sir.
And she sponsored number 1 or number 2 or both for a green card before you?
Both.
So you're her third person that she has sponsored.
Yes.
Come on, brother. So I have someone who, okay, so did you use an attorney to file your case, or did you file it
Yes,
on your
sir. No, attorney, sir.
Okay. And do you know that when you get married and you're in deportation court, that they hold you to a higher standard, and you have to show by clear and convincing evidence that your marriage is real? You have to show, in other words, you have to show more than a regular marriage, right?
Yes, sir.
Is your wife of Pakistani descent?
Asian descent.
Okay.
She's from India.
Okay.
Like her.
Are you there? Oh, we lost him. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the comments if you guys can still hear me. It might be me with this damn internet. SFO, are you there? Can anybody hear me? Hello. Okay, good. Rachel's got me. SFO, are you there? All right, we'll come back, brother. I don't know. It's a tough case. Let's go to Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. So first of all, thank you for doing your best for the migrant community, and thank you for your dedication. I have a question about my brother. So my brother is a U.S. citizen. He applied for his fiance. His fiance is the national of one of the 12 countries that's affected by the ban.
Yep.
So they went through a very lengthy process. She finally got the interview. She passed the consular interview. They processed everything. They also processed her medical exam and everything. A week ago, they asked for her passport because on the status, it showed that her case was approved. And also, they sent an email saying that your case has been approved and you need to send us the passport. They sent the passport at the end of the May. And now we haven't heard anything yet. Do you think she's affected by the current ban as a fiancé of U.S. citizen?
Yeah, so fiancés, I believe, someone asked me this today. I don't know for sure, but the way I read the ban, I believe that fiancés are banned and that it's going to have to be a marriage case in order for that to work. I'm 98% sure that's true.
Okay, so you suggest that the option would be for them to get married and refile the I-130?
It sucks because it's like starting all over.
Yeah, because they have been waiting for like more than 2 years now. Any possibility of filing like a lawsuit, like to challenge this ban,
I mean,
like individually?
I'm sure there will be lawyers filing class actions. I'm sorry, did you tell me, Ahmed, what country she was from?
And she was the national of Afghanistan.
Okay. Yeah. So I believe that this ban is going to be a lot harder to attack in court. I think it's going to be much easier for the government to defend this ban. I'm not, I would love to think that a lawsuit will work, but I don't think it's going to.
So like, is there any legal option for like a U.S. citizen individual to like file a lawsuit and like challenge this order?
Yeah. And anybody with a filing fee can file a lawsuit. The question is whether it's going to win, and that's the thing is. So the last 4 times they did the travel bans, they did it very sloppily. They did it very quickly. There was no real analysis. But here, like one thing that they did this time that they never did before is they carved out the ban. They exempted from the ban the spouses of U.S. citizens, right? So the spouses of green card holders aren't cut out, and I believe fiancés aren't cut out either. So the reason they did that is because they kept losing in court when these U.S. citizens were suing and saying, hey, my husband or wife can't come to the United States. So this time, instead of having that fight and making everybody mad, they're limiting it to non-immigrant visas, to people that already had their visas in hand, or to the spouses of green card holders and that. So I think that their only option is probably going to be to get married and start over.
Mm-hmm. I read through the exceptions of the travel ban. It doesn't include K-1 visas. So as you said, it's most likely that it's not going to be in the exceptions. And today I also heard that the Attorney General in Washington State, they are like reading through it to see if there are like any options so that challenge it in the court.
Yeah,
so,
and they were the ones that filed the best lawsuits last time. So that makes sense to me.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you could reach out to them and ask to be included in their lawsuit. But what I'm saying is, just without doing a ton of research on the new ban, but having read all the cases from the last couple of bans, what I'm saying is that based on what I've seen so far, I think that if they challenge this in court, and given the Supreme Court's decision in U.S. versus Hawaii, that this ban is going to be upheld by the courts. That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. So let's say if we get lucky and the judge stops or at least pauses this order and we don't hear from the consulate, what would be the best option for us? Do we like reach out to the consulate immediately to like just because it says it's approved? I only have to like do a last check and issue the visa. So do we have to contact the consulate right away?
Yeah, you would. You want to get them to start it over. And one problem is fiance visas can expire on their own. So that's a whole other reason to I like right now, Ahmed, when people call my office and say, Jim, should I do fiance or spouse? If they're from a country that the United States doesn't like, or if I think there's any chance, if there's a big age gap, if I think there's any chance that they're going to cause trouble, I would tell them to go ahead and get married. So I understand. I think you've asked great questions like a lawyer. All of your questions have been really good. But at the end of the day, I think this couple has to really think long and hard about getting married and starting over, because otherwise they might wait another 3 years and have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it makes sense. So my last question would be that the consulate still hasn't reached out to them yet. So there is no like rejection letter or anything else.
Right. No,
do you think we have to reach out to them or just wait for them to reach out to us?
That's what happened last time. Is they just sit on it. Nothing happens. They've been directed to stop all processing of any visa applications covered by the ban that are from the listed countries.
Okay, so if they just sit on it and then my brother goes and gets married and then file an I-130. Is that fine? Like there is no problem with that? With a
Well,
pending K1 visa?
the day they get married, the K1's over.
Oh, got it. All right, these were all my questions. Thank
And
you
they
so
were all
much.
great questions. Thanks for the call, Ahmed.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
See you, brother. Yep, bye. All right. Let's see if our friend came back. SFO did not come back. That's too bad. That was an interesting case. And Mo was here. That was nice to hear from old Mo. Let's go to Kelvin. Hello, Kelvin. You're on mute. Hello, Kelvin. Kelvin, are you there? All right, there goes Kelvin. Let's go to Suber. Hello, Suber. I don't know what's going on. Mahad's out, Robert. Don't worry about that. Suber's out of here, too. All right, let's go to LGC, and then I'm going to go to Tejas, and then Shiraz. LGC, hello.
Hi, Jim. Good night.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So I have a couple quick questions. Um, if you're married to a citizen, right, and you got married before, like when the child was like 16, and the child is gonna turn like the child is 20 now and is gonna be 21 next year, is it better for the citizen to file for the child or the green card holder?
Always better for the citizen to file.
And when he turns 21, can you still file for him, or you have to do it before he turns 21, or will he age out?
Well, let me ask this question. How old was this person? How old was the kid when they got married?
About 16, 17, thereabout.
Why didn't the U.S. citizen file that day?
I'm not sure. They weren't knowledgeable about the process.
Yeah, that kid's going to age out most likely, and they're going to. I mean, it's better for the U.S. citizen to file, but they probably missed their boat, and the kid's going to age out and go into the unmarried child of a U.S. citizen, and that's a 10-year wait.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that. And what if the citizen is not working right now?
That's the least of your concerns. That issue doesn't come up for 10 years or 6 years or whatever. Like, you don't, just to file the I-130 petition, you don't need to be working. That's all at stage 2 when you get to the embassy stage, and that, or when you get to the State Department stage, and they're a long way from that. So you don't need to worry about that. Just get the damn thing on file. They've wasted 4 years.
Also, when they got married, he should have the husband was in the country and the child is outside of the country. She should have just put him on the file in there and then.
No, the U.S. citizen would have had to file a separate I-130 for the kid, but that's what they should have done. The kid wouldn't have been. I mean, she should have listed the kid. Hopefully, she listed the kid as her kid, but that wouldn't have given him any status. What should have happened is the day after they got married, he files an I-130 for his wife and then an I-130 for the kid.
Oh.
I mean, that kid should already be here and have a green card, and now he's going to have to wait 10 years because they messed it up.
Oh wow.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. That was my question. Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much.
Have a great night. All right, this is the Immigration Answer Show. For those of you who don't know, my name is Jim Hacking. I'm an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, Washington, D.C., and Chicago. It's fun being with all of you tonight. I enjoy these nighttime shows. And somebody said the other day they think we get better calls, and I think we do. Tejas.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Doing all right. Again, thanks for doing all of these. It's a great resource for us as knowledge, and also helps for any kind of forms that we are filling in. So I appreciate you. My case, I am a U.S. citizen. I am filing for my wife for a green card. She is a F1 student right now. She is in status until 2027 because she's a PhD student. However, her address and college is in Boston or near Boston in Massachusetts, and I live in New Jersey. So first question is it okay to write that her current physical address is in Massachusetts, but she also spends 50% of the time with me because she does. She only goes to classes or teaching when she needs to. So writing on the form that she spends 50% time with me and then 50% in her school, is that a red flag?
Let me ask things a little bit differently. because we have 2 years to play with, right? Right? She's in
Yes.
status for another 2 years. Is there any possibility in the next 6 to 12 months where you guys are together 365?
Not until her school is complete.
Okay. And so logistically, how does it work? Like, when does she go? When does she come back?
So
Each week?
she only goes for class when she has to actually take classes, because she is a PhD student. She's not actually attending school. She is just a teaching assistant. So she has to take labs like 2 or 3 days a week. And her meetings she can either do on Zoom, or whenever she has to go in physically, she goes, let's say, 2 to 3 days a week. So over the weekend, she's mostly with me. And then she goes in, let's say, Tuesday to Thursday, and then comes back to me.
Yeah, so I think it's totally fair to list your marital address, where you stay, as her home address. I would point out somewhere in there, just to be on the up and up, that most weeks during the school year, Tuesday through Thursday, she leaves Boston. You said Boston, right?
Yeah, Worcester, but no one knows Worcester, so Boston.
Yeah. She leaves Worcester and goes up to New York for her teaching gigs, and then she comes back. But her address. Does she have a driver's license in Worcester?
Yeah, so when she landed initially as a F1 student, she landed directly in Worcester. I am in New Jersey, and we got married in of this year. So we are now filing from New Jersey.
So oh wait, you're in New Jersey?
Yes.
Wait, where's her school? I thought her school's in New York.
No, her school is in Worcester. She lives in Worcester. Yeah. Her address proof, and she has a rental lease there in Worcester too.
Okay. All right. So I'm glad you clarified that. Okay. So I would take the position that your wife, for purposes of everything, including state income taxes, driver's license, everything else, is a resident of the state of New Jersey, and she happens to go to Worcester 3 days a week for work. So what I would do is I would spend the next month before I file and change all of her paperwork over to New Jersey.
I see. And not Worcester. What would be the reasoning behind that?
Because we want to have our interview where you live in New Jersey. We want to minimize as much as possible the idea that she lives in Worcester. We want the idea to be, and it seems like 4 days out of the week and all summer and all breaks and everything, she's in New Jersey. So to me, legally she probably is a resident of New Jersey, but from an immigration standpoint, it definitely is better to have her at your address, leaving for work 3 days a week and coming back.
Gotcha. So in the forms that I'm filling out currently, I have it noted that her physical address is Worcester and her mailing address is New Jersey. And then in the additional information, I have noted that she spends 50% of the time there and 50% of the time with me.
Well, first of all, be careful with 50%, because number one, we don't want it to be 50%. Number two, it's not 50%. And number three, I would say her legal address and her physical address is New Jersey. And she's, like I said, we want to minimize we want to minimize Worcester. We want to put a box in her. We want to highlight how much time she spends with her husband. We want to keep track of all of her travel. How does she go? On the bus or the train, or what does she do?
Bus, yeah.
Yeah, so I would keep all those receipts, all that travel. You guys you might have to document this at some point. And I think what you do is you take the position. She's a resident of New Jersey. We pay taxes in New Jersey. She has a driver's license in New Jersey. She lives here with me, and she has to go out of town 3 days a week. And here's the documentation of how that works. Here's when school's in session. She's with me on Friday through Monday. It's sort of a hassle. We're looking forward to the time where we live together, and she's finishing her PhD, so we really don't have a choice. But we live here in New Jersey. So if she has a lease and all this other stuff in Massachusetts, that's not helpful.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just put her on my deed as well, so on my house deed. So that's a good document to have, and we have joint accounts.
All of her mail, she should get no mail in Worcester. She should. It sounds like that's where she started her life, but we want to end our relationship with Worcester.
Gotcha. Okay. The second question is that her last date of entry into US was January 17th. That's when, and that was the port of entry was also Boston, because that's the nearest to Worcester. Yeah. We got married on 10th of May. That is outside of the 90-day window of her last date of entry.
Yep.
So in terms of also attaching affidavits of support for our marriage and relationship, what dates and timeline should we actually note there? Because while we were dating for the last year or more, but our intent of marriage only happened in the last couple of months.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, I don't put much stock in. I mean, first of all, don't call them affidavits of support. Affidavit of support is a term of art that deals with the financial I-864 that you have to sign. So if you call them affidavits of support, you're going to confuse them. So just say they're affidavits or statements in support of the marriage. If you are going to submit them, they should be notarized. And as far as what you should put in there, you should put in there what's the truth, whatever the truth is. I've known Tejas and I've known his wife for the last 2 years. I've seen them dating, and I was so excited when I found out in late April, early May that they were getting married. Just tell the story of how they know you, how they've seen you act as a couple, and then what they know about your marriage. That's it.
Gotcha. I did propose to her in February, which was within the 90-day period of her entry. Is that going to hurt our case? That
No. And how many times has she entered on this F1?
I think 3 or 4 times in the past 3 years. She came in 2022 of August.
Yeah. So she's been using the student visa as it was intended. She used her student visa when she entered in January to continue her PhD program. So this is not like a case where someone gets a student visa, never goes to class, and then gets married on day 61.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think a little bit more about the address part, but because you make a good point, I'm a little bit confused now because all my forms that I have put in so far have been.
I could care less about you. You haven't submitted anything, right?
Right. Not yet. No.
So now it's just time to fix it.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Certainly don't send in the wrong information because you've already typed up the forms.
No, yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm also going to attach support documents that mention that her address proof here, because I have a will that I am naming her to be my beneficiary. That will prove a good bona fide marriage document,
but not as good as a driver's license.
Yeah, her driver's license is currently Worcester.
Yeah, got to fix that. Got to get. I mean, you guys have plenty of time. You got 2 years till she's done with her PhD. So do it right. Establish her domicile in New Jersey and then file. Take it out of your mind that you're going to file this in the next week, even though you got all your forms ready. You got to fix a big problem with the case, and you're going to put your wife in a whole lot better position to get a green card.
Gotcha. Understood. Thank you, Jim.
See you, buddy.
Yep.
All right, that was Tejas. He had a lot of stuff figured out, but he didn't have everything figured out. All right. Boy, SFO never came back. That's too bad. I'm going to go to EAD. Hello.
Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, so I have just a quick small question. So I'm like a F1 student, a PhD student, and recently I filed a marriage-based green card.
Great.
And I also filed I765 for EAD. So my question is if my EAD get approved, am I allowed to work even if I'm in school, or is there going to be any problem?
So that's a good question. Okay.
Yeah.
So one thing you have to understand is, I'm going to turn off your mic for a minute just because I'm getting feedback, and I'll pull you back up. So one thing you have to understand when you have an F1 student visa is that they don't always attach it to unemployment or to a marriage-based green card case. In other words, they have you down as an international student in one system, and then they have you down as someone applying for adjustment. And so the systems don't always talk to each other. What does that mean? Well, that means that they will give you a employment authorization document, and you could use it. But if you use that EAD that you get based on marriage and a pending adjustment case, if you use that, then you will have technically violated your F1 student status. So the best bet, if you can afford it, would be to wait until you get your green card and then work at that point. You never know what's going to happen with marriage. You never know what's going to happen with the green card. You never know what's going to happen with Trump. the working should be forgiven, and if you have the work authorization, you're allowed to do it under the green card, but it's also a violation of your student status. So if at some future date something happens with the marriage and you don't have any status left, then that would be a real problem because you used your work card.
Yeah, now I got it, because I was like started looking for jobs. I'm gonna graduate in about like 6 months, so I was like I can start looking for jobs, and if something lines up, if I can start it or not.
Yeah. How long ago did you file the 45?
I just sent my documents like 2 or 3 days back.
Yeah. So if you can hold out till you get OPT, I would do that.
Okay, so should I like file for another EAD like based on OPT or?
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you, Jim.
See you, buddy. All right. Let's go to Shiraz. Hello.
Hi, Jim. How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Do you remember me?
No, buddy. I don't remember anybody from yesterday.
Okay. So you filed my the lawsuit for my GC. USCIS made a mistake, and with your help, I got my green card.
Oh yeah, I remember. That was fun.
Yeah. So thanks to you. I just had a quick question. So 2 months ago, I was pulled over by a cop, and after receiving my GC, and he issued me 2 citations, and it stemmed from one incident, but they're like both of them, they are like 0 points violations. So I just wanted to ask you quickly if this will affect my chances of naturalizations in any way, and if I can travel freely, go and come back.
Well, I don't think I'm telling everybody who has a green card not to leave unless you're a citizen. So putting aside that, I would still not want you to travel. But what were the citations for?
It was like not following the traffic signal.
Okay.
It's not a big thing.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's not going to affect anything.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Can you say that again?
Yeah, that's not going to be a problem.
Oh, okay. And like, if I get any other citation, I will avoid to have any citations in the future. Like, usually I'm a very safe driver, but if I have any citations, does that affect your like naturalization application in any way?
Well, you keep saying in any way. It sounds like a lawyer trying to box out any possibilities. I mean, if you get a ton of tickets, you could, but no, generally a traffic ticket a year is not going to keep you from getting your citizenship.
Okay. That's all I had, Jim. Thank you.
Hi, Shiraz. Good to hear from you, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks.
All right. Let's go to Nora. Hello, Nora. You're on mute.
No, hi. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks God that you picked me finally. Jim, I have complicated case. I applied for asylum. I have no crime. I have good records. I'm working currently in the airport. My asylum, I don't know if it's not denied as they said, but I have NTO on the court in August. I have a specific job that qualify me to be as to apply for EB2 visa with waiver, as I have 5 years experience. I have more than 5 years.
Hold on. If they referred you to the immigration court, you can't adjust status through employment.
With waiver, even if I'm currently working in the airport?
Yes. Currently working in the airport has nothing to do with it. When somebody applies for asylum, when did you enter the United States?
September 2022.
And
I delivered my daughter here. I have one daughter citizen. I'm single mom, and the asylum for domestic violence. And I have another daughter. She's not citizen. 2 years and a half and 3 years I have and a half.
But when did you? So you came in September of 22. When did you apply for asylum?
On the 23rd of March, before like 1 week from my EB2 visa.
And then when did you have your interview?
On 19th of April.
Of what year?
This year, recently.
And then you got a referral to the immigration court. So the asylum office did not grant you asylum.
Yeah, actually, she didn't even read the file. She told me you have a lot of evidences, and I prefer like more than one eyes to look at your case like this.
Did you
I
have a
was
lawyer?
with my lawyer.
Did a
Yeah,
lawyer-
I have with my lawyer. Unfortunately, she's not that strong, and they refer me directly. Even I handed her like the therapist report and all other evidences. My lawyer she was like delaying submitting these documents, but at least she submitted them. But the officer, she was not interested. I was there at 8. She interviewed me at 2. She ended my interview within 1 hour and a half. Exactly.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And
and
she
he-
was
and
intending
he-
actually to refer me to the court.
So you have a court date coming up this year?
Yeah, actually in August 4, 20. But my lawyer, she was like, she's not answering my call, and she told me apply for the visa. Even she doesn't advise me like if I can adjust my status here or no. But I read the website in the USCIS. They said I can, as long as I'm qualified for that, because I'm working in security. I'm working very specific job. I have a quality and security.
But here's here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to explain this to you.
Yeah, please.
So applying for asylum is not real status, right? It's not actually getting status. So
like out of status.
So you've been out of status since your 6 months were up. And asylum can be status for purposes of adjusting through the national interest waiver. Unless you've had your asylum interview and they send you to the court. Once you're in the court, you lose the chance to get a green card based on employment.
Okay.
So it sounds like asylum is all that you have.
So all the option I have asylum. So
like
what option I have? Like my lawyer, she told me I will ask from the judge to close the case or to close the case administratively.
That's
so you can give you time or make continuous or like this. So what options I have?
What country are you from?
Jordan.
Do you have a digital copy of your asylum case?
Yeah, a copy of my asylum that I submitted or what they provided me from NTA. Yeah, I have. Yeah, sure. Actually, I contacted your office several times and they told me, sorry, we cannot take your case.
Yeah, I know, but send it to me anyway. Send it today, and I'm going to run it past my wife, because if it's a domestic violence case from Jordan, she might want to take a look at it, or at least we can help you find a deportation lawyer where you live. If we're not going to take it, we'll find you a good one.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. Actually, because now I don't have any family here or any friends, and
yeah, I'm sure it's scary.
Yeah, and the other issue, my daughter, she has like thalassemia in the blood, and I have the report.
Yeah, that's not going to do much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nora. Send it over, okay?
Which email? Please.
info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
The same email that I submitted my document, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna refer me to a lawyer. I live in New Jersey, by the way. In New Jersey or where?
Yeah, I know a good attorney in Philadelphia, and he does New Jersey. And but I'll also talk to Amani too, okay?
All right. Okay.
Thank you, Nora.
So much. Thank you.
Okay. Masalama.
Bye.
All right. My daughter's name is Nora, so gotta treat those Noras right. The light. Nora is the light. Quick question. Hello. You're on mute. Quick question.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Go for it, bro.
Well, thank you so much, Jim. I'm just gonna be a little bit quick with it. I'm asking you first. Let me just give you a little bit background of my case. I got my green card based on marriage.
Okay.
I came to K1 visa, I think on the first year of Biden. The travel ban affected me through all Donald Trump's time. So I was on a wait for the whole 4 years, and I just got my visa through the second year of, I think, 2022. No,
Okay.
21, at the end of 21. So I already adjusted, I got my green card. So I'm just this January, I did my renewal for my green card. Recently, I
Hold on,
just
real quick.
off.
Real quick. You filed
Yeah.
an I-751, not an I-90, right?
Yes.
You filed for removal of conditions, not to renew the green card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Removal of condition. Right.
Okay.
My question is, I just recently got laid off from my work, from my job.
Sure.
And my daughter, she has a hearing issue, so I applied an SSI for her. Would that affect my naturalization down the line?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry that you lost your job, and second of all, I hope you get a new one soon. No, under the way the things are now, that would not keep you from being able to get your citizenship or to get your 10-year green card. You're sort of past the part where they worry about that stuff. So as things stand right now, you're fine.
Even though it's not for me, it's for my daughter. She's eligible for it. I did not apply for myself.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah. You're fine.
Well, thank you so much, Jim. That was my question, and thank you again for all the wonderful thing you do.
Have a good night, brother. See ya.
You too.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. Now, guess what? We're probably going to do another show tomorrow night at this time. I'm tied up all day tomorrow, and if I'm feeling right, after dinner tomorrow, I'll do another show here, probably around 8 o'clock or so. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Remember, all you people who want to get in the waiting room, get in there early. Text the word show to 314-470-3300. Show, SHOW, to 314-470-3300. And we'll be back tomorrow. Get in here early. I'll try to send the text by 7:15 or so. We'll see. But probably 8-ish tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks. It was great to see all the OGs, especially Jonathan and Mo. But always good to see all our friends like David and Munir and Dammy and Wisleen and Laura and Donna, everybody, Robert, everybody. Peace out. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of disease.